Give it up for Naughty by Nature!
Welcome to YellBro Road. I am Jordan, and today we finally got our apology from Dave Smith. Finally. Been waiting forever for this one because he's one of those influencers guys, He's a big name out there, a big debate guy, big pro anti-war, pro-peace guy, anti-intervention guy. And finally, he apologized for voting for Donald Trump. I was saying he should have did it a long time ago, but sometimes you gotta wait for people, man. Let them catch up for a little bit. But first, I just want to show this real fast, in case. This was said as I'm recording this 3 hours ago, and I'm on standby for any type of U.S. action to be taken. Right now, it's kind of up in the air as far as I understand. Some of the advisors are giving hints that maybe it's not. Maybe the U.S. won't jump into the war tonight, or at all even. But I think all these things are so vague and it could be taken so many different directions. This sounds like wartime shit, right? Iran should have signed the deal. I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. I mean, those are like, we're going to bomb you now type shit. Right, you can even see this one here. America first means many great things, including the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Make America great again. He even insults Tucker Carlson here. Right? Somebody explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So he just keeps repeating that and all these things about Iran having a nuclear weapon. Once again, if you actually paid attention to the scenario, and according to his own DNI, there was no, until after this guy pulled out the nuclear deal, there was no evidence to say that they were actually developing nukes. As far as we understand now, they still don't have any fucking nukes. And all this tension buildup and shit, it can only get worse. Likely pushing them towards trying to develop a nuclear weapon. Like, fuck, maybe these guys will leave us alone if we just make a nuke. People will have that North Korea deterrent. So these things make no sense. These are for the dum-dums that don't look into any of the information. This is a signal for them to make them feel like, oh, damn, they got nukes and they want to blow up people. That's why we should go in and fight them. That's what that's for. But yeah, hopefully the U.S. does not jump into this war. There's other hopeful things, like, Trump purposely stepping down and asking for himself to be arrested would be a good thing. Like, hey, guys, listen, I did criminal shit. Arrest me now. I withdraw from being president. But that's not going to happen, right? So we have to live with what we got, and hopefully this guy stays out of it, although he is already in it. He is in it. As Dave Smith knows, and I think has said, as of recently, yeah, the U.S. is already at war with Iran. Already. Are we using our soldiers? No. Or is Israel using our weapons? Yep. Are they using our intelligence? Yep. Are we using our defense missiles to block bombs coming to Israel? Yep. All have been showcased. So, we're already there. It's just we haven't had a direct, we're shooting bombs directly at Iran shit yet. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but then once again, we're already there. We're already at war. Before I get started, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All appreciated. Thank you. All right, so here we have Dave Smith, and I'm just going to let him take the floor from here. Like, he's going to explain what should have already happened as soon as he suggested someone go vote for this orange penguin. He should have already apologized in that moment. But you know what? Here's Dave. Let's see where he goes here. Here we go.
It was in 2007 that the Pentagon told George W. Bush that we cannot go to war with Iran because we do not have escalation dominance against them, essentially meaning that they can hit all of our bases and embassies in the region, and we are very vulnerable to them. And we've already seen demonstrated since the Israeli attack that the Iranian the missiles that they sent last year toward Israel, as many of us guessed, that wasn't really their best. They were intentionally making an attack that wouldn't really hurt anybody, that wouldn't really lead to a war, which Iran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting.
And he ain't lying, bro. It's a joke of a it's a joke of a thing to do, 100%. Because it's like, please, like, come back and make a peace deal while we arm and fund your opposition, the one that's bombing you right now. Yeah, they're flying our planes, using our weapons, our bombs, our logistics, our intel. But sign the peace deal with us. Like, come on. Then the actual merits of the peace deal is obviously not going to be feasible for the Iranian side. So it's a dog and pony. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But it's for optics. It's to trick the regular American into thinking that this guy is some sort of anti-war person, super duper pro-peace guy. He's not. But once again, that should have already been known, but we'll get into that. Let's continue on with Dave. Finally opening his fucking eyes. Here we go.
Probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese.
Right.
Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah.
Once again, the negotiations weren't actual negotiations. I just want that to be understood. It was never actually negotiations. All the reports of like, oh my God, they're close to a deal. Oh my God, Iran and the U.S. are like they're, willing to change their deals around so that they can sign them. It was bullshit. It's all been bullshit. So, once again, isn't Dave friends with the antiwar.com people? How'd you not see this one? You should have known that those deals were bullshit. He should have known. Sorry to get on the guy while he's like apologizing. I'm sure that seems a little unfair. I apologize for that, but it's still like a little bit frustrating because it's like, dude, this was seen already. This was like when he first said, "Hey, if Trump goes to war with Iran, I'll be the first person to apologize for voting for him." And I'm like, you need the Iran war for that, bro? Like, there's all this other shit that he's doing, man. In fact, there's shit before you voted for him or supported him. There's so much shit there, and it's just frustrating because I've been watching people that have been saying this with evidence backed up, with insurmountable amount or giant piles of fucking evidence to back up their claims. And all you need is your fucking eyes and ears during his first term to see what the fuck he was doing. And it's just frustrating that like now, like he's saying this now, like when we're on the precipice of entering the Iranian war, entering the Israeli-Iranian war, like now, like come on, man. Once again, everyone has room to improve and change, and they can say you're sorries and all that stuff. I understand that. It's fucking frustrating. It really is. It's yeah. Anyways, here we go.
Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one.
See, that's the thing that's going to trigger me. Like, calculations in a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, it was this guy's neocon ass motherfucker hiring neocon cabinet members to do neocon shit around the world. It was clear as day to me. Clear as day. And to be honest with you, if I didn't think the way I think, the way people were pressuring me, like, oh no, give him a chance. People that claim to not be on the right, or drooling zombie-like MAGA, Trump fans. Those guys were telling me stuff like, yo, he's a better deal. He's the better deal. Trump's a better deal. I'm like, fuck, I'm lucky I'm me. Because I'm like, I'm not moving on this. This guy's full of shit. Saying Trump. Not those guys. Trump, I'm saying. Like, oh, this guy's not that thing that people think he is. And it's like, you know how I know that? We had 4 years of him. Fuck. 4 years, dude. You're friends with the antiwar.com people. Come on. How? How did we get here? Fuck. And I'm not going to say this about Dave because I don't know. I haven't watched enough of his stuff. But there are other people that 100% jumped on the MAGA train to get their followers because that was the fucking craze to do. That was the moneymaker. That brings in the subscribers and the fucking memberships and the Patreons. That was a thing like that, for sure. Remember when he first won? Everyone's fucking celebrating and shit, bro. Seeing UFC athletes all dancing and shit. Yeah, got it. Yeah, Trump won, yeah. And I'm like, face palming, shaking my head like, what the fuck are we doing? Did we just ignore the first 4 years? Did he have such a, what's the word for it? Epiphany. Trump's like, wait a minute, I figured it out. War's bad. I figured it out. I'm done with wars. Why are we doing that in Yemen, huh? And it's like, I'm out here just throwing out the, like, hey, what if he's just bullshitting so that you elect him and he just does whatever he wants after that? Oh, wait. What's that? Oh, he did that? Oh, got it. So, for his first term, he bullshitted about being anti-interventionist and anti-war and all that shit. During his campaign, he won and went to doing war shit, right? Now that I left room for a little bit more excuses for why people were supporting the guy, because he didn't know what he would do, right? But he got in office and did a bunch of war shit. His second term, there should have been no excuses at that point. No excuses. Like, man, this Trump guy, he says some good stuff about keeping America out of wars and America first and anti-intervention and all that stuff. He's going to hire Tulsi Gabbard. Look at that. And what's his name? RFK Jr. Look, he's getting these guys in there. Anti-war. I'm like, please. This time around had no fucking excuses. None. Like, shouldn't he showcase that he fucked up? Shouldn't you have a signal of that at least, like a little tiny little bit of information showcasing that he's like, yeah, I fucked up by smashing Obama's drone record. I fucked up doing that. That wasn't the right thing. When I funded those rebels in Syria, I fucked up doing that too. Oops, my bad. But no, guess what? The fans. I wouldn't even be surprised if Dave Smith came out in that time period and be like, yeah, Trump, don't tell them about your fuck-ups because then you might lose to Kamala. It's like, oh, this is some strategist bullshit. And then I look in the mirror and say, thank God I think the way I think. I don't fall for stupid shit like this. Anyways. All right, Dave, tell us the unforeseen that at the time it was so a perfect calculated chess move of supporting Trump in those times. Got it. But now it's like it's a bad idea now. Even though he showcased this in the first 4 years. He actually did showcase this. Maybe not as aggressive, but he was showcasing all the things that we're at right now were being built in his first 4 years. Of course, Biden slept through his administration, so a lot of things didn't change from what happened during Trump's 4 years. All right, here we go.
With the Japanese. Right. Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one. Wow. And not on some not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of, corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that...
Once again, you can run on something, but then we have, he's not brand new. It's like they forgot he had 4 years in office already. He had 4 years in office. These excuses do not work. He campaigned on being peaceful. So what? He's saying words out loud? Wow, what a fucking magic trick. Holy fuck. Once again, this would go for a lot of people, not just Dave Smith. It's just, I'm here. He set the pins up. I'm knocking them the fuck down. It is what it is. He said he'd apologize if Trump entered the war in Iran, which he, as of right now, I mean, he has entered the war. But I mean, overtly, so that everyone realizes we're at war with Iran, where the people that watch Fox News realize we're at war with Iran, that type of shit. But the apology should have been flowing in for a while now, bro. It is what it is. And I'm sorry, Dave's getting the brunt of this, because he set it up, man. He set the pins up. Here we go.
This is the one thing they support.
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. So it's just a devastating mistake. Yeah. By the way, on top of that, he's also going to lose the deportation fight because of this. Because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that, you got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here.
Once again, if you actually look into the deportation issue, and you realize they're backing up American citizens. Sometimes it's for speech, right? Sometimes it's for people that are legally they're quote unquote illegal, but they're here legally. They're going through court processes to get their citizenship or to become a permanent resident. They're filing paperwork for these things, and they're getting grabbed up when they're trying to do things the right way, right? They apply for asylum, right? They come here, they try to go through the legal means to hey, here's who I am. I'm not hiding anywhere. I go to my court dates. I'm telling you, here I am. All right. I'm trying to work towards, a green card or a visa or even full blown, citizenship. Right. Those guys too are also being bagged up. So no, it's not all Mexican gangs or Venezuelan gangs and shit like that that are being thrown out. It's regular. There's a lot of regular ass people. So, once again, Dave, behind the times on that, too. Someone help this fool out. He gets paid to do this, guys. I don't get paid to do this. He gets paid to do this. And yet, he doesn't fucking know anything, apparently. Sorry, I'm being harsh. He has some interesting foreign policy takes that I'm like, oh, okay. But, can he go there? I don't know if he can go there. He apparently didn't figure out what Trump was doing the first 4 years. Apparently he doesn't know what he's doing with immigration and deportations and all that shit. Paying money to a foreign country to jail like people you just mass pick up because they're wearing Bulls hats. If you fell for that, good luck to you, man. Fuck political capital of popularity. Is it right or is it wrong, Dave? You're supposed to be ahead of people, not in the back. Or going along with the crowd. You're supposed to be ahead of them. What is this? Fucking wrecked, dude. What is this shit? What is this world we fucking live in? Where the lame dicks are the fucking talking faces on my screen. What the fuck? How did that happen? Why do we let that shit happen to us, man? Like some guy fucking 5 years behind well, not everyone. There's people that are just trying to catch up to Dave, believe it or not. But there's definitely plenty of people that are way ahead of Dave. That you never fucking hear of, do you? Interesting, huh? That's right. We'll see Dave in a documentary in 20 years. Man, I fucked up. No, I think he's gonna play it. Once again, I think he already plays it kind of safe already. Like that's why I think he does. That's why I think he is like a man of the times. Like he sticks with the crowd, kind of. Right. I think that's why he's like that because he's like maybe worried about being looked at as bad or wrong or something. I don't know. If I had to guess, I get it. It is what it is. Once again, this does not only apply to Dave. My raving and ranting and rambling. It just sometimes you're the guy on my screen, and sorry, gotta roll you a bit, man. Pause. Sometimes you gotta get rolled. All right, here we go.
Because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that, you got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here's what we got. The neocons win. More war abroad and, bomb the world and invite the world. No matter who you vote for, you always get John McCain.
Look at that. I mean, well, okay, I'll say this. The U.S., as far as right now, as far as I understand, is not at... That could change by the time I upload this video. As far as I understand, they're not at war with Iran. I mean, I would say they're at war with Iran. I think Dave would say they're at war with Iran. But officially, quote-unquote, officially on the surface, according to Fox News, they're not at war with Iran yet. Right? But let's say he stays out of that war. There are going to be a bunch of lame dicks out there screaming, look, he's the peace president. Do you see that? Everyone else would have jumped in the war, but he's the peace president. For all I know, Dave makes another apology. Although I don't think he will because he's been saying what I've been saying about, like, yeah, we're already at war with Iran. If Trump signed a quote-unquote peace deal now with Iran, he already did enough. He already did enough to be like, you went to war with them, and now you're signing a peace deal for whatever reason. But yet, like I said, maybe his fans pressure him into being like, listen, I got to apologize again. Because apparently Trump was the right choice. He kept us out of war with Iran. See, look. He kept us out of war, man. See that? Let's keep it moving. For some people that, once again, people that were ahead of the curve of probably all three of these people. I can't say I don't watch enough Breaking Points with Sugar and Magic 8 Ball. But I would assume that even if, once again, maybe you're not
in 2007 that the...
Does that do that? If I just hover over it and I leave, it plays a video? No, it doesn't. Okay. Whatever. You may want to call him a conspiracy guy or whatever. Fair enough. And maybe he's paranoid about every little event that happens. Thus, he's always going to be in question of something. He'll never accept anything. He's always a doomer. A doom scroller for life, right? At the same time, I think on this topic, he outflanked Dave Smith by quite a bit. Let's see it from David Icke. So, okay. It's a call out, but, he's being nicer, I guess. Call out for Dave Smith for having the decency and courage to admit that he made a massive mistake in supporting and promoting Trump. That's one of the bigger parts right here, where it's promotion of the guy. That's like, oh my god, I want to rip my hair out type shit. And I started backtracking, trying to look at some videos from before Trump got elected, and there's a lot more people on that list that should be joining Dave Smith and apologizing. Jimmy boy, come on. Little Scotty Ritter. You gotta be apologizing. Anyways, the story is so much bigger, Dave, than left versus right and Trump versus Harris. They are all oil rags of global control, not the engineers, and this goes way down the rabbit hole beyond the diversion of politics. When are Carlson, Rogan, Russell Brand, Alex Jones, Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro loves what he's. Don't say Ben Shapiro. He loves what Trump. Like, go to war with Iran right now. Trump, go to war with Iran. They're gonna blow up New York one day. Shapiro's all in with this shit, so you can't even say him. I'd add Jimmy Dore to this and Scott Ritter and guys like that. I'd add their names to the list. Well, okay, he says etc. essentially. When are these guys going to admit the same instead of saying, who, me? But I never. Or even doubling down on the way they misled people into supporting a blatant and obvious myth. Blatant and obvious. I think it was that. I don't know about anyone else out there, but I thought it was pretty blatant. When I would argue with people before Trump entered office, I'm like, yo, where's your fucking evidence for this? They keep telling me that, oh, he's going to be more peaceful than Harris. We're going to avoid World War III. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I'm like, where's the fucking evidence for that? He said words out loud. Where's your evidence? Of course, I got no evidence because whatever. And, of course, my evidence gets dismissed. But, yeah, I thought it was blatant and obvious. And it's like, for me, you only get one. It is the George Bush thing. Fool me once, shame on me. The point is, don't fuck up. Whatever his fucking statement is. Like, it's like, you get this one chance where I'm like, okay, I understand why you did what you did. But now, there are no more excuses. I mean, for me, the first Trump run, I left room for people to have their excuses, and they're like, oh my god, he brought up WikiLeaks, he did this, he said Hillary Clinton is a corrupt, should go to jail, drain the swamp. Like, damn, I fell for it. Right, and they got 4 years of a neocon presidency, right? Maybe based on from the George W. Bush era, where it feels like a more tepid or more calmed down neocon presidency, but it's still a neocon presidency. And yes, he was bombing all over the fucking world. He was funding people to bomb people, funding people to overthrow governments. He was doing that all throughout his first fucking presidency in multiple countries. Granted, it wasn't reported on, right? Even troops have, once again, we have seen troops die and kill in all over Africa. But once again, no one cares about that place. It doesn't get reported. Thus, they're like, oh, see, Trump didn't start any new wars. That was such a talking point being used over and over again. I'm like, yo, get this shit away from me. It's so bullshit. Blatant and obvious bullshit. In my humble opinion. That's how I felt back then. Obviously, that's how a lot of people are starting to feel now. But, yeah, that's the thing that I think puzzles me and David Icke. Not saying I agree with everything David Icke says. It's just like, there were people out here full-blown campaigning for this guy, for this orange penguin, when I'm like, didn't I just see, wasn't he just a neocon for 4 straight years, guys? Come on. I said it earlier tonight to Dubster of like, this is the actual perfect example or microcosm Like, right? Microcosmic, is that a word? Microcosmic, like, metaphor for the entirety of what Trump is and why people somehow fell for him being like a peacenik or something, or an anti-war guy, or as Joe Rogan said, Rogan here, he's less pro-war. So he's pro-war, but he's less pro. What the fuck does that mean? Anyways, my little microcosm is Trump, right? 2,000 troops in Syria, right? What does he say? Let's keep the oil. We're going to keep the oil. Right? When everyone's like, yeah, we're getting troops out of there. Oh, wait, they're staying? Yeah, I'm going to leave them in there. They're going to stay for the oil. We're keeping the oil. Instead of taking that serious, people are like, oh, shucks, Daddy Trump. Like it's a sitcom laugh track. Like, oh. Anyways, 2,000 troops in Syria, right? Biden comes into office. Still, 2,000 troops in Syria, right? As far as I understand, he left those troops there for his 4 years. Trump comes back into office, takes 500 out. And people are like, oh my God, look at that. He's lowering troop counts in Syria. See that? But those 2,000 were his original ones that he put. Brain rot. That sums up, like, how, like, that little simple ass kindergarten trick is what sums up why I think a lot of these silly people followed and supported this guy as like some sort of peacenik or less pro-war. Anyways, here's more from David. Trump owned by Israel was, I don't think that. I don't agree with that. I think these are gangsters working together. But anyways, Trump owned by Israel was all they needed to know since way back to see what the game was. But they didn't, or were fine with that. What? Worked out well, didn't it? So, David's basically saying, like, yeah, he's been in on the game, and it was kind of blatant and obvious. And you guys missed it, and we had to wait for you to figure it out, I guess. But who knows? Maybe Dave Smith still didn't figure it out. Who knows? Maybe Trump says, you know what? We're not going to bomb Iran, okay? Dave's like, damn, that's the Trump I voted for. I see a lot of that on Twitter. Not from Dave, but from other people, where they're like, this is the president I voted for. When he does something they like, which I guess is like beating the shit at college kids, you know, protesting something or whatever, you know? But to get a little bit more blatant about this, let's go to Michael Tracy. Once again, a guy I don't agree with everything with, all right? I don't agree with every one of his takes. I don't agree with all his ideas. But, like, it's to point out that the Trump thing was kind of obvious. It was pretty obvious. But here we go. If the Israel lobby was this all-consuming, inviolable force, he uses words for some reason, Obama could not have achieved the Iran nuclear deal, the JCPOA, in 2015 over the vehement objections of the Israel lobby. Netanyahu literally delivered a speech to a joint session of Congress inveighing against it. I remember that. Like, Netanyahu, like, went behind Obama's back to talk to Congress. Like, yo, you can't be doing this, bro. Like, why? Because it guarantees Iran won't have nukes? Is that why? You need that idea out there so you can bomb them one day, which is now taking place, right? AIPAC was, of course, fully activated to fulminate hysterically against the JCPOA. The entire Republican Party was united against it, as well as significant factions of the Democratic Party, including senior leadership like Chuck Schumer. By contrast, Trump willfully merged with the Israeli lobby sometime in mid-2016, promising to, I think he's being facetious here, like just merging with them in 2006, like, stop it. Promising to fulfill all their wildest dreams. He even went further than much of the Israel lobby had traditionally gone, aligning with fanatical messianic Jewish elements who were previously seen as somewhat uncouth Stop using words like this, Michael Tracy. Jesus. Uncalth. I don't know what this word is. By mainline pro-Israel interests. He also elevated evangelical Christians who support Israel on apocalyptic religious grounds. One of them was appointed by Trump as the current U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. Right? Trump campaigned in 2016 on withdrawing from the JCPOA. He then withdrew in 2018. In 2019, he said he was minutes away from bombing Iran after a U.S. drone got shot down while flying in Iranian airspace in the Persian Gulf. He imposed maximum pressure with sanctions designed to cripple the government. He assassinated Iran's top general, leading to an Iranian ballistic missile strike on U.S. military installations in Iraq. That everyone believes that Iran wasn't trying to just straight up just kill them. They're like, it's like a warning shot or whatever, or maybe a fake out, maybe a deke. Yeah. Pause. It was a deke. He then campaigned in 2024 on promises to enable Israel to attack Iranian's nuclear facilities. He threatened to blow all of Iran to smithereens. He appointed career anti-Iran hawks to prominent administration positions. He pledged to back Israel far more aggressively than Biden. He surrounded himself with the most hardcore pro-Israel donors. He amplified the claim that Iran had tried to assassinate him. Once again, if you're hearing that from Netanyahu, that didn't, as of recently, to get the U.S. into the war, Trump has been saying that. He has been saying that. He got into office in 2025 and started vowing to bomb Iran if they didn't make a deal with an insanely compressed timeline of 60 days. The ensuing negotiations were handed off to his personal envoy, Steve Witkoff, who declared that the only acceptable deal from a U.S. standpoint would be for Iran to dismantle its nuclear facilities and eliminate all uranium enrichment. Witkoff, Rubio, and Trump repeatedly reiterated this transparently untenable negotiating position. Right? So, untenable in the sense of, like, Iran was just, like I said, it was a no-go. From the jump, it was a no-go. Right? At first, I'm sure, if I remember correctly, the Trump administration was... No. Up front, they were saying, no nuclear weapons for Iran. It was like their talking point. He's still saying it now, right? Saying it over here. No fucking nukes. Over and over again, he's saying, no nukes. Meanwhile, the idea was just about enrichment. When he says no nukes, he means no enrichment of any kind. Which is, once again, untenable, considering the Iranian position. It's just not going to happen. People are going to learn that more and more, I think. That's why I keep repeating it. And that's why these guys keep repeating the other way of Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They're conflating the situation. Where the fuck am I? Untenable. Okay, untenable negotiating position. Everyone knew Iran would accept such a deal, which would be tantamount to a self-inflicted national humiliation and forfeiture of sovereignty. He resumed the maximum pressure policy of crippling sanctions. He proclaimed that he would take over Gaza and turn it into a U.S. military protectorate. He unleashed the spigot of heavy munitions to Israel. He greenlit an accelerated annihilation offensive in Gaza. He launched a government-wide effort to punish and stifle speech critical of Israel. Like these, once again, still, I think all foreseeable from what he did during his first term with Gaza, moving the embassy, and obviously the policy towards Gaza and Hamas and all that shit. His policies towards Iran, pulling out the nuclear deal, and all the, obviously, sanctions and all that shit towards Iran. And guess what? Even the you get in trouble for criticizing Israel shit. That was him doing that in his first fucking term. He's like, yo, we're going to take federal funding from schools if you allow people to talk like this. Or have these positions. Like, we're going to essentially sanction your school. In a way. Anyways, 60 days pass, and the bombs Trump promised indeed begin dropping on Iran. He takes credit for the Israeli operation. He brags about how the weapons he provided made it all possible. He emphasizes that he was fully informed from the outset. He effectively admits that the negotiations were doomed by design, a pretext to justify the eventual bombing. None of this was unforeseeable or unexpected. It was blatantly there. Blatantly there. I mean, right, true, no one can just read, unless you're God or something. Like, no one can just fucking know what happens in the future, right? No one can say they know, but I'm telling you, that evidence was there. If you followed the evidence to a T of all the events out there and all the policies that have been out there with this Trump guy, I think you would it would be blatant and obvious, as David Icke called it. It was very clearly telegraphed, all out in the open for any rational observer to see, not just for months but years, chalking it up solely to some eternal inviolable influence of the Israel lobby, always conjoining and manipulating Trump into doing things he otherwise didn't want to do, is just the continuation of a failed and desperate effort to displace agency from the president. And there's some people that want to make themselves look right. There's people that do it for those reasons, like, oh no, I'm right about Trump. It's just I didn't foresee the trickery of Israel. There's people who are paid, most likely paid by the State Department or the Pentagon or whoever, right? Or PACs, or they get the people that donate to Trump also donate to those guys, or foreign country, whatever the fuck. Saying the same thing of like, oh no, it's not Trump. It's those guys over there. They're doing it, not Trump. He's a good guy. He was the right choice. And then there's just silly people that just believe that. QAnon or something close to QAnon that believe that this guy is just infallible. And Trump's out here like, give me some credit. I did that. It was me. I took pictures of it. It's right here. Yeah, these are tricks that Trump are doing to trick the enemy into believing he's one of them, but he's really not. Trump hates Netanyahu. Like, yeah, sure, bud. Oh, it's a trick, Alex Jones? Oh, got it. It's a trick. Like, come on. But yeah, this whole thing right here, now I'll be real with you, he's even left stuff out of this. There are so many fucking examples you can go over where it's like, yo, this guy is not some peacetime dude. He is full-blown neocon. When he wants to overthrow Venezuela or Brazil or Ecuador or any of these countries, right? Where maybe Elon has some, mineral fields over there or some shit like that. Who does he get in his first term? He gets Elliot fucking Abrams. The fucking devil in South America, bro. Fucking, what's going on? Iran-Contra motherfuckers. He wants to fight the war on terror? Who does he get? Gina Haspel's and John Bolton's. People who were George W. Bush neocons. Come on, bro. The Epstein stuff goes off, right? Who's he put on the case? Bill Barr, who happens to have connections to Epstein. Allegedly. Like, come on, guys. Like, this guy's saying, like, give me some credit, guys. I'm a bad guy. I'm trying to be a villain here. And you keep cheering me on. Why do you keep cheering me on? I'm trying to be the bad guy here. So, yeah, I'll end the video there. It's just like, to me, in your face, blatant. But then again, I understand people get caught up in a whirlwind of campaigns and content creators that make it hard to, like, can make it hard to figure things out, right? Or it's hard to use logic when the tools you're using are just the tools that some dipshit is handing you, right? That's not. I'm not saying just Dave. I'm saying, like, it seemed to be a thing, right? I think Dave means well, from what I understand of him, but he could be kind of a ditz, like a ditzy motherfucker. Possibly easily tricked. Who knows? But yeah, I guess the moral of the story here is don't just click on streams to have a hangout time. I get that. I get that. The vibes of it, and the fucking you're seeing your friends there, and oh my god, I'm leaving a comment. Oh my god, and Dave read my comment. Savvy Sads read my comment. Jimmy Dore read my comment. Oh my god, I get it. It's a feel good hangout thing. I get it. Or a cathartic a group therapy thing, where they get to yell at the screen and throw popcorn at the screen and shit. Like, yeah, fuck you, whatever politician for doing some corrupt thing. I get that. I get it. But at the very please do some studying on your own and look into things on your own. And for me, once again, I'm not some whiz kid at any of this shit when it comes to politics. I like more of the other, I guess, introversion aspects, internal aspects of all these scenarios and the way people behave and shit. It'll be hard to, in my opinion, hard to trick me. Because I'm already questioning before I even hear a fucking word out of someone's mouth. That doesn't make them bad people because I'm questioning them. It just means I'm like, this guy could be wrong, or this person could be lying, or whatever. Or they could be right, and I want to test it against other theories or ideas and make sure it makes sense to me. Either way, I put safeguards in place when I deal with these ideas of politicians. If I don't see these guys come out and say, yo, here's all the mistakes I fucking made. Here are my fuck-ups, and here's why I'm never doing those fuck-ups again. I learned from my mistakes. Here's my mistakes. I'm learning from them. At the bare minimum, then you're not even going to get a fucking head nod from me. Pause. As far as being a credible politician. But it starts with that shit. Tulsi should have did it. Bernie should have did it. Trump should have did it. All these guys. AOC, they got to point these things out. But then again, the man of the times or the woman of the times that are fans or content creators that are supposed to be fans or whatever, they they come out of the woodworks to say, don't say anything negative about yourself because then you can't win. If you point out your mistakes, you can't win. I'd be at that point, I'd be yo guys, we got bigger problems. If you can't admit mistakes and then improve yourself from those mistakes, you can't do that out loud. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a fucking voting competition. The populace oh look, this guy fucked up before. We can't vote for him. He fucked up before. Then we got bigger problems, and maybe we should start moving towards these internal things that I, scream about. But until then, I guess it is what it is. All right, there's your video. Please subscribe if you like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think. You think Dave should apologize earlier? I'm sure I did a video on this idea already where he said the initial clip where he's like, yo, I will apologize if Trump goes to war with Iran. And I made a video basically saying, you should be apologizing now. The guy's done enough. Trump has done enough to enough innocent people that you should already be fuck you. But, maybe people didn't agree with that back then. Maybe they see this now. Do you agree with Dave? Oh, hey, he's apologizing. Good. Should we hold Dave to the, feet to the fire? Yo, you can't make mistakes like this anymore. There's too much shit on the line. We can't see you out here campaigning for motherfuckers because they say words out loud. You need to come up with something to find a way, okay, will this person have integrity? And personally, I try to be fair about these things. Where I'm yo, I understood why people voted for Trump the first time around. You had no voting record from the guy, right? As far as policies, you have no policy making from the guy beforehand. And he's saying all these wild things that are popular on the internet. About not QAnon, but WikiLeaks and the corruption in Washington and all that stuff. And I understood why people found that appealing. Oh, I understand. And then I was saying it during the operation where he killed an American citizen, his first fucking operation. But the more overt case, because most people don't hear about those things, right? But the very first where he bombed Syria in his first year as president. Within the first month, I think in April of his first year as president, he bombed Syria. I'm okay, here it is. There's your IQ test. You can no longer call this. You can no longer either support this guy, or you can no longer call him like some sort of peace president. He's not, or that he's going to end corruption. He bombed Syria without showcasing evidence for it, and then moved on. Moved on. Meanwhile, doing other creepy shit in the background. But yeah, it's like it really is like the Bill Hicks imitating George Bush, like too little, too late. Like right now, it's too late, bro. Gaza's they're fucked. Iran, it looks very possible that the U.S. jumps into that. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Who knows? At some point, they overtly jump in. They're already there with weapons and intel and shooting bombs down. So they're already like fighting in the war, essentially. But overtly, who knows when that could happen? If it does, I'll leave room. All right, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. Thank you. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down. Jesus.
Say you wanna get in.